I repaired her broken blade, and the alien woman warrior called me. Beginning. The storm had not yet passed when I found her. 60 kilometers outside the human frontier settlement of Halberd's Rest, the sandstorms of planet Caltheron. 9 were notorious for swallowing entire caravans. I had been scavenging the old ruins of a fallen colony, a routine I had repeated 100 times before, when a flicker of violet caught my eye through the whipping dust. At first, I thought it was a trick of the storm. Then I saw her. She was collapsed against a shattered obelisk, her body clad in strange armor that shimmered like scales under the lightning-charged sky. A tall figure, more than 2 meters in height. Her skin glowed faintly blue as though her veins carried liquid starlight. But what drew me most wasn't her wounds nor her alien beauty, but the weapon clutched weakly in her hand. It was a blade like none I had ever seen. The hilt seemed grown, not forged, its surface marked with living circuitry that pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat. The blade itself was cracked, broken clean in half near the middle, leaking strands of energy that bled into the storm around her. I could see she was dying. My instinct was to turn back. A scavenger like me had no business meddling with alien warriors, especially one carrying technology beyond anything humans could hope to manufacture. Yet something stopped me. Maybe it was the way her lips moved, forming words in a language I didn't understand. Maybe it was the sheer stubbornness of her trying to crawl forward even while bleeding out. Whatever it was, I wrapped her in my cloak, pried the broken blade from her hands, and dragged her toward the hidden shelter I had built beneath the ruins. I didn't know then what that choice would cost me, or what it would give me. Middle, the warrior awakens. She woke 3 days later. By then, her wounds had stabilized thanks to my crude medkits and a lot of guesswork. I had bandaged her strange physiology as best I could. Her breathing had steadied, but her eyes, the color of burning suns, opened with sudden ferocity, and her hand shot out, grabbing my wrist with a grip like iron. "Where blade?" she demanded, her voice guttural yet melodic, as though it carried 2 tones at once. I froze, then pointed to the workbench where I had laid the weapon. The broken half-blade rested there, inert but still faintly glowing. Her eyes narrowed. She released me and staggered to her feet, towering over me even in her weakened state. The way she looked at me then was the way a wolf studies a trespasser near its den. But when she saw the careful way I had cleaned the blade's living circuitry, her expression shifted. "You touched it," she said slowly. "I did more than touch it," I replied. "I'm trying to repair it." That caught her attention. She stepped closer, tilting her head, as though she couldn't believe what she was hearing. Then she barked a sound that might have been laughter or anger. "You, human scavenger, repair Ceratus? Impossible. Ceratus is forged in the heart of a dying star. Only a bonded may heal it." I shrugged. "Then maybe you're lucky I have a knack for fixing things people call impossible." Her gaze locked onto mine, and for the first time, I saw something behind her fierceness. Desperation. She needed that blade whole again. The work, the days that followed were grueling. The blade, Ceratus, she called it, was not merely a weapon. It was part of her soul, bound to her people's ancient rights. To fight without it was unthinkable. Repairing it required tools I didn't have. So I improvised. I scavenged broken generators, melted down alloys from abandoned drones, and fused their essence into the shattered lattice of the blade. Whenever I faltered, she watched in silence, her burning eyes following every motion. Her name, I learned, was Kilira. She was no ordinary warrior but a Valen huntress, trained to defend her people across the stars. She had come to Caltheron, 9 in pursuit of an enemy she called the Drekner Swarm, a parasitic race that consumed entire worlds. Her ship had been destroyed, her blade broken, and she had been left for dead in the storm. "Why, help me?" she asked one night, her voice quieter than before. I hesitated, then answered honestly. "Because when I looked at you, I saw someone who wasn't ready to stop fighting. And maybe I'm tired of only surviving. Maybe fixing your blade is the first thing that feels like it matters." Her gaze softened, though only for a moment. Then she said, "Strange human, perhaps you are more than scavenger." The bond. Repairing Ceratus was more than mechanical, it was ritual. Kilira showed me the rights of her people. Binding runes traced in starlight ash, chants whispered over molten metal, and the offering of one's own blood to seal the fusion. I cut my palm and let the blade drink a drop of me, its circuitry flaring brighter at the contact. The closer we came to restoring it, the closer Kilira and I became. She told me of her homeworld, Vast oceans of crystal, mountains that sang when the wind touched them, skies where people hunted leviathans among the clouds. In return, I told her of Earth, of fields I once worked as a farmer before the wars had driven me to exile, of sunsets that burned gold across the horizon. She laughed at the idea of farming. You nurture life with soil and water. We nurture it with fire and hunt, but both are survival, perhaps not so different. For the first time in years, I felt less alone. The swarm returns. But peace never lasts on Caltheron 9. The storm outside had calmed, and with its passing came shadows on the horizon. Machines. Insectal drones of black chitin and steel, their wings slicing the air with shrill resonance. Kilira saw them first. Her face hardened. Dreckner, they come. The swarm had tracked her here. Dozens of drones, scouts for something much worse. I had no weapon strong enough to stop them. Kilira tried to rise, but without Sarah this hole, her strength was incomplete. We didn't have time. Then we finish it now. I told her I worked faster than I ever had in my life. Sparks lit the shelter as I welded, fused, and prayed. Kilira stood beside me, chanting in her people's tongue, her hand resting on the half-repaired hilt as though feeding at her soul. When the final piece clicked into place, the blade pulsed with blinding light. A shockwave rippled through the ruins, rattling my bones. Serdis was whole again. Kilira's eyes burned with renewed fire. She turned to me, and for the first time, she bowed. Bonded, she whispered. Ending. The battle. The swarm descended. Kilira strode out to meet them, Serdis blazing with energy. With each swing, the blade cut arcs of violet fire, slicing drones in half. I grabbed my rifle, offering cover fire, though it felt laughably small compared to her fury. The battle was chaos. Screams of metal, the stench of burning circuitry, the ground quaking under the swarm's advance. But where Kilira fought, the Dreckner fell. At one point, 3 drones closed in behind her. I shouted a warning and fired wildly, distracting them long enough for her blade to cleave through. She glanced at me then, and in her fiery eyes, I saw not just a warrior, but trust. Together, we pushed them back. By dawn, the ruins were littered with the wreckage of the swarm. The rest fled into the skies, their hive no doubt waiting. Kilira stood amidst the wreckage, her chest heaving, her blade humming with power. Then she turned to me. You repaired Serdis. You fought beside me. By our law, you are no longer scavenger. You are bonded. You are bladekin. The word struck deeper than I expected. For years, I had been nothing, just a drifter, a forgotten man scraping by on the edges of civilization. Now, in her eyes, I was something more. The choice. Later, as we buried the fallen drones under stone and ash, Kilira asked, I returned to fight the hive. Dreckner, do not stop. Alone I may fall again. Will you come, bladekin? I thought of my old life, of scavenging scraps, of empty days under storm skies. Then I looked at her, an alien warrior who had trusted me with her soul's weapon, who had called me more than I believed I could be. I nodded. Wherever you go, I'll follow. She smiled a fierce, rare smile. Then we fight as one. Epilogue. We left Caltheron 9 together. Aboard a stolen Dreckner skimmer I barely managed to repair. The galaxy ahead was vast, full of war and danger. But for the first time, I wasn't afraid. I was no longer just a scavenger. I was bladekin to a Valen huntress. And together, we would carve our story into stars.